instructional cassette designed for use by the serious drum student. Reproduction of this material, either in total or in parts thereof, is strictly prohibited by the FDA, the BMW, and the SOB, Mr. Irving Bledsoe, world-renowned instructor and master beater. Narration is provided by Miss Nudie Lester, and additional background created by Bob the Dog. It is Mr. Bledsoe's hope that this cassette will provide inspiration to fledgling pupils of beginning percussion and anyone else who wants to get all of the girls. Mr. Bledsoe also would like to dedicate this tape to Mr. Wayne Munson, the man with that certain nothing. So with no further ado, and in the words of that legendary great percussionist Sandy Duncan, let there be drums! Drum. Since time immemorial, drums have played an important part in the anatomy of music. They have been used to send messages over long distances. They have been used to call villagers to tribal celebrations. And they have been used as the first commercials for ancient barber shops. Popular opinion speculates that the earliest drums were invented by the Ludwig tribe in northeast Africa and were constructed by hollowing out tree trunks and beating on them with the bones of indigenous animals, such as the native elephant, the native lion, or the native's mother-in-law. However, paleontologists have recently discovered evidence of possible percussive influence in the prehistoric cave paintings of the Neanderthal man. In 1988, a startling revelation was uncovered by a noted archaeologist when he slipped off to take a leaky in an unexplored section of a cave in France. There, as he washed away eons of fossilized dirt and bat dung, he unearthed the primitive hieroglyph on the cave wall. It was the word Zildjian. Since then, many other discoveries have been made in the same area, including the unmistakable etching of a rototom and the actual skull and overdeveloped ego of what is purported to be the missing link between human and ape, now known as the Buddy Rich Man. These bones are now on display at the London Museum of Prehistoric Bastards and have led to many theories regarding actual evolution of percussion instruments. Some scientists believe the drums were first developed by early man as a tension reliever between hunts. Other scientists believe the drums were first developed by early man because he was no good at playing the piano. Further evidence that percussion played a large part in the development of early civilization was proven by the discovery of Egyptologists of a pyramid built entirely of wood blocks and was so perfectly constructed that not even a lead sheet from a fake book can be inserted between the cracks. So, although there is now conclusive proof that Africans did not invent the drum itself, it can be said that they did develop many innovative rhythm methods, giving us more cadence and less Catholics. Part 2. Know your drum set. A drum set is very important for the serious drummer, just as a clarinet is important to a clarinetist and a flout is important to the flautist. Doubtless you have visited your nearest discount drum store and have been confused at the myriad styles of drums and equipment available. However, Mr. Bledsoe recommends buying first the bass drum. This is the most important drum because it is the loudest. Next comes the snare drum, which gets its name from the wires or snares passing under the drum. These can be adjusted to create annoying buzzing sounds during quiet passages, or can be released completely to give the sound of the African drum, known as the tom-tom, tick-tick, or harry-harry. This is particularly effective during a cha-cha, but only so-so when used in a can-can. However, for the truly redundant drummer, Mr. Bledsoe suggests purchasing additional tom-toms. These can be mounted or just holding hands. Also important is the floor tom-tom, which stands on legs and takes up lots of room on the bandstand. When used effectively, the floor tom smothers the sounds of the other drums. It can also be used as a decorative cocktail table or as a music stand for drummers who don't read enough to hurt their playing. These drums can be tuned for a variety of situations, from heavy metal to swing. Next, we come to the cymbals. This will probably be a drummer's greatest expense because the very best cymbals have been hammered out by people in Turkey who know what they're doing to be hammered on by turkeys who don't know what they're doing. Once again, the novice percussionist will probably be confused at the many kinds of cymbals on the market, so Mr. Bledsoe has formulated this basic rule of drum. If it's bent, cracked, or beat to shit, don't buy it. Otherwise, anything goes. Always remember, whether a cymbal is used for a crash effect, a splash effect, or a flash effect. The most important thing is to destroy the higher frequencies in the hearing of nearby fellow musicians. Finally, we come to a relatively new addition to the drum set, consisting of two matched cymbals mounted together on a stand in such a fashion as to form the all-important hi-hat. Originally, this was meant to be played by a drummer wearing white tie and tails, but has been adapted for t-shirt and tennies. The hi-hat is pedal-controlled and generates the afterbeat or offbeat. This doesn't mean to say that this should be off or even after the beat, but rather as a counterbeat to confuse bass players and make the tune hard to dance to. Mr. Bledsoe gives it an 85. Rapid clanging of these hi-hat cymbals can also be used to generate a cooling draft during a particularly hot number.